Good morning. Good morning.
I was really stupid yesterday.
Oh no, you guys are great.
Are you guys the ones leading the whole transition from the, getting a lot of, having a lot of success yet?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
So,
okay, good. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, good. So it was 3:43. So, okay, so good. Made, okay. Well, I mean, as far as you've taken it slow I forwarded her voicemail too. No way.
slow they have to be. So I'm just letting you, it's not 5 minutes. Yeah. So, like, you know, that.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Are we ready?
Good.
Good morning, Cheryl, too. How are you all today? That's it?
Great.
I'm actually really, really good. And I asked Steve, who's running the show over here, like, why is your morning good? I ask him every day. I don't know, does everyone know Steve Harwood? Have you ever seen him not smiling? So I asked him, why is his morning good? And he said he got up and he's here. And then I thought, oh, I have just a list of so many reasons why it's a good morning. So I thought we could just start with that. So if you could just share with somebody nearby one reason that this could be a good morning. Not all the reasons it couldn't, but the one reason or more that it is a good morning. Go ahead, wherever you are. Okay, let's come back together. How many of your responses included coffee?
Oh, I forgot that.
Okay, how many of them included family?
Yeah.
Okay, how many of them included the best place to work? Oh, look at how many hands went up. Awesome. I'm sure that's how it was remotely too. Come on, man. All right, well, we had a great board meeting last night. It was nice. We opened the meeting with a great presentation from UC Riverside, and Kylie's going to come up and talk about that. We had a lot of information that came our way regarding the CFDs and our general obligation bonds. So Maze will come up and talk about that, or Sergio. We had two significant presentations on our district priority of arts and science, and then also on this transition that is going to happen in December / the 1st of January, when we will become most aware of it, on Google. So you'll hear all about that this morning. We do get and also a little bit about negotiations for CSEA. We do get the opportunity at the board meeting. Dr. Hansen shares out in the SOUPS report, and he's so kind. He actually shares that with me a little bit. So we highlighted some great events that have occurred in our district. For example, with Hispanic Heritage Month, the celebration that had 500 different individuals come and celebrate Latino culture and history. So that was really cool. Some STEM activities that have been happening, like Inspire Her Mind in the district, and just some neat things that we really probably could have a circle meeting every day about the neat things that are happening in our district. I did get to close out that SOUP share out with the fact that our own superintendent, Dr. Hansen, who would be pulling me off the camera right now if he knew I was saying this, is finally getting his celebration dinner for being named Superintendent of the Year for AXA. So that's something that's really amazing. And Trustee Hunt pointed out that was not luck, that was skilled board hiring, because I said that we've just been so lucky to have Dr. Hansen, and he did point out to me that was skilled board hiring. So we're very thankful for the great leadership we have. So you want to start out? You ready? Sure. All right, let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know that the personnel department all said that this is their favorite thing as to why they came to work was being here, is why, that make their day the best. But see, with that being said, we did last night had UCR, the privilege of having UCR, and we had the interim dean, Dr. Louis Rodriguez, come. Many of you have probably heard Dr. Smith before. He's now right now acting as chancellor. So we had interim dean Louis Rodriguez, who's been with UCR for a while, and he did a great presentation. One of the goals that we wanted him to talk about is how and the work that UCR has been doing with regards to recruitment and bringing in candidates that match our demographics. Because part of what we want is we want to be able to recruit teachers and recruit people to work for us that match our student demographics. And if the universities aren't recruiting students that match our demographics, it's very hard for us to do that. So he gave some statistics, which were really neat to hear because I didn't know some of these more recent ones. But for 2020, UCR was ranked #1 for social mobility. That's a huge push for all of us in the community of Riverside because that means people are wanting to come here. When you get the youth here, that means that hopefully they'll be impressed and they'll want to stay, which also helps our economy in many ways. For 2019, they were ranked 85 for best colleges, and they were ranked number 66 for graduate schools. So that's pretty special for us to have a university with those rankings, and that's through U.S. News. So that's a national ranking. It's not something that's a local, us picking who between the local schools. It's a national. So those of you who have ever attended UCR, who live by UCR, who live in Riverside, should feel really proud of that. I'm really proud. I'm not a graduate of UCR, but to have that university here and to see its growth is special for us, and it's really neat for us in Riverside Unified. So then he talked to us about some of the people and the candidates that are in his programs. And in the undergraduate, they have 420 majors. That blew me away too. It used to be back in the day you could go teaching, education, history, science, math, 420 majors, 70 undergraduate minors, and then 204 in the master's and the credential programs, and 75 in a PhD program. Talked about the demographics, and that was one of the things we really wanted him to focus on, as I kind of alluded to in the beginning, the demographics. They are working very hard to have their teachers, their professors, match the demographics too of the city. So currently right now, they have 50% of their professors are minority, which all different, mix, plethora, from African American to Hispanic to Asian to Middle Eastern, but that also helps in their recruitment to be able to have students who can look and feel like they fit in at that university, which has come in a long way. The graduate school demographics, because that's what Riverside Unified is the most interested in that the students who are going there to become teachers, really, again, as I said, we want to be able to go out and recruit, and we want to recruit locally to help our economy, and they're building the capacity. Right now, they're at almost 60% Hispanic Latino students, which really will help us as we're moving forward in building those teachers and staff members that match the students that we have. So that was good to see for us. Some of the other pieces that they talked about was the fact that their demographics are almost matching in their undergraduate school our demographics. Again, I know I speak a lot to demographics, but if you can't get students in that undergraduate world, you got to get them into that graduate world. So that was really neat to be able to see and hear. So that kind of concluded. He talked a little bit about the things that we're doing in the future, some of the things that you might not be aware of. I know I've stood up here and I've been super excited about some of the opportunities we've had, but they also are doing a pipeline. So as I have shared with you, kind of back last spring when Riverside Unified was the only district that received one of the grants to be able to send forward classified employees, UCR was one that is working in conjunction with Riverside County Office. So Riverside County Office of Education, San Bernardino County Office, and Riverside Unified. We are the three LEAs that have received that ability to be able to run a program. We're running our own program. We're also contributing and working and sending students through the RCOE program. So currently right now we have 13 students in our RCOE program, and we have about 13 in our own program. So that's 26 classified members going back to obtain a credential of some sort. So that's pretty unique and special. We talked about other opportunities that we have to be able to build the capacity. And so that's one for that with UCR. Are there any questions before UCR? Okay, then do you want me to go straight into CSEA? All right. Next piece is, as you know, we every year, it's by law, you have to sunshine articles that you're going to be negotiating. So CSEA, we've worked collaboratively the last year and a half to kind of come up with our sunshine opportunities. So I'll just go ahead and let you know what has been sunshine. But we have pay and allowance, which is always open. So that's your compensation. Health and welfare, always open. As I look at the health and welfare, it's always opened. every year annually. And then the other articles that have been opened are organizational rights. That's Article 3, Article 10, hours of employment and overtime, Article 5, organizational security, and the last one is Article 14, and that is transfers, promotions, reassignment, and voluntary demotions. So those are the articles this year that at the CSEA table we will be working on in negotiations. And so that's kind of where we're going from there. We've got off to a great start, and we're hoping it'll be a wonderful year. Any questions with regard to a wonderful year? Yeah, well, it will be a wonderful year. That's right. Any questions? No questions? Okay, because you're quiet. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kylie. Be ready because you're going to have that one question at the end. Everybody's going to have to explore, so be ready. So it's Sergio San Martin with our CFD information.
Thank you.
I'm timing him though because it was about 2 hours last night.
This will go quick. We have two CFDs that the board took action last night. The first CFD is forming a brand new CFD. They've actually conducted a public hearing.
What is it?
Community Facilities District, which means when developers build homes or they build commercial buildings, they pay their impact fees to the city, to the county, and even to our district. Community Facilities District is in lieu of developer fees. It's a little bit higher than developer fees, which is it benefit us. It goes straight to our facilities. So last night the board took action. They conducted a special elections for forming the CFD and approved it. So we will be benefiting about $1.9 million from CFD 37. In addition, the board also took action on selling bonds from an existing CFD, CFD 34, which will go into our facilities, specifically King High School and possibly Ramona, to fix our facilities and do some upgrades too. That's all on CFDs. I did hand out to you one of these little forms here. This, you should be receiving one like this at home in the mail. And what it is this is a progress report on Measure O. This just has a quick update to our community, to our staff, to our parents. What have we been doing with Measure O? You'll see that we have 5 schools in construction and 11 other schools in design, engineering, and getting ready to be shovel ready so that we can move into construction next summer with Groups B and Group C. And then you have the rest of the projects also, just for your information on what are the next projects after Group A, B, and C. This is just a quick overview of Measure O. And with that, also last night the board also took action on the next phase or next steps of our general obligation bond, which Ms. Kakish will update us on. Thank you.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Good morning, Riverside. Riverside Unified School District. We did something really exciting yesterday. We had brought to the board a recommendation to issue the second series of our general obligation bond, which is not to exceed $172 million. So what happened? Does everybody know the process? Should I go over it a little bit? The process of issuing bonds, how that happens? Everybody knows? Or everybody doesn't know? No? Okay, so I'm seeing shaking heads. Just quickly, when we authorize a measure, when it goes on the ballot and gets approved, that's just the authorization of the bonds. The district then has to get board approval in order for us to actually get those dollars that were authorized by the voters in our bank in order for us to spend it on facilities. And so we did, right after the election back in 2016, in the beginning of 2017, we issued the first $100 million. And that's what is being spent on the construction projects right now that Sergio was talking about, which is the update from Measure O. And you see that we are in construction, full construction of 4 elementary schools and 1 middle school. So the next $170 million will take us to the next 2 groups of construction projects. And really the district cannot go out and issue those bonds unless the assessed value of the homes that are paying the debt on those bonds go up. And so in Riverside, the economy has been great and the values of the home has gone up. That gave us an opportunity to be able to take those dollars out and stay within the limit that we promised the voters, which is $60 per $100,000 value of home, and we're way below that right now with the 100 million plus the 172 million that we project to sell in December. We will still be within that limit and actually way below that limit. And so by the time come 2024 or 2022 or to 2024, depending on when is the right time to do the final issuance of this measure, because we have been authorized to do $392 million. We have projects that are over $600 million projects that we will use the 392 state matching funds and other funds like developer fees and CFDs that we have agreements with developers to get. All of that will go into the program that we're doing for all of our schools that is over $660 million worth of projects. So there's a lot of exciting facilities and construction projects in Riverside, which in return enhances the economy in Riverside because we are one of the largest employers in town. So with that, we're very excited that that was approved. There's a piece that we did as a combination for that transaction. So when we go out to issue those bonds, we decided to refund the previous bonds from Measure B. Measure B has already been spent. It was issued it was authorized in 2001, and it was issued over the years, and we did many projects from it. But there's some debt on it. You know how you have your mortgage, and sometimes in the last 10 years, interest rates goes so much down that you feel like it's beneficial for you to do a refunding or refinancing. For the districts, it's called refunding. When you refund the bonds, you have the opportunity to issue them again on a much lower interest rate. Now, that savings doesn't generate any dollars to the district. That savings goes directly to the taxpayer, and they will start paying less for that debt. And so we had the opportunity to do that transaction at the same time, and it gave us an opportunity to save on the transaction. So if you do two refinances together, you save on the cost of that because you're paying those advisors or underwriters once for those both transactions. So we ended up having the ability to do that. We will send a press release for the dollar amount that we will save the taxpayers, and we will also issue letters to those homes to let them know that the district has taken that action to save taxpayers' dollars. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions before, I know because this is like a lot of information, before we go to Ryan, if there is any. I'm sure it was so clear because I'm very good at describing the I am just kidding because I know it's not as clear. But it's okay. You can reach out to me anytime through email or through to Sergio, and we'll both be able to answer any questions in detail afterwards. Thanks.
Awesome.
I completely understood it for sure. We are going to jump into our district priority of the science and arts presentation. And one of the things we want to do is kind of make sure that our board is informed as we go as far as progress on our district priorities. That makes sense, right? As well as all of you. And so we have broken down our 5 district priorities, and we are sequentially putting them into board presentations. It gives us the ability to not only monitor the work that we're doing, but also if there's ways that the work needs to be modified or if our actions and services need to be increased for some reason. When the board makes that decision through our accountability plan, the LCAP that you all know about, they have more information. So this is our way of keeping them most abreast of how we're doing on our district priorities. And who would like to start? Okay, they're coming together. Here we go. Dr. Angulo, Anne-Marie Guzzi, here we go.
All right, good morning. Good morning. So as Lynn said, we had the privilege last night to present on excellence in science and the arts, and it was broken down into 3 categories: the arts, STEM, and math. And so Anne-Marie was able to present on the arts, and I'll let her go.
So in the arts, we covered 4 key areas of activity this year. In the elementary programs, we're doing our Art to Go program across all of our sites, as well as the Riverside Arts Academy Music Project. Professional. Professional development, we have had our Making Music and Education conference, which reached 70 teachers at RUSD. We will be doing also arts workshops for our arts teachers in the spring. In the area of partnerships and pathways, we have our live tech program, RUSD Honors Musical, as well as master classes with world-class artists. And then in the area of communications, we have our RUSDarts.org calendar, which features arts performances from all of our sites, monthly newsletter that goes out to teachers about our arts opportunities, and a launch of a really exciting thing called the Arts Now community in Riverside. So these were all just to highlight some of the work being done in the arts, particularly around the area of partnerships and how we are preparing our students for the 2.6 million jobs that are available in the arts just in Southern California alone.
Great, then we transitioned over to STEM, and the action item for STEM is to modify our district-wide STEM plan, and that work is being led by Dr. Steve Kong, doing a fabulous job in partnership with ILE, so I want to make sure we recognize them for that. The goal of the STEM plan is to provide increased access for all students and equitable learning opportunities for all students, and in order to create the STEM plan, we are convening an advisory committee of a wide range of stakeholders, which will include businesses, colleges, all of our local colleges, and internal stakeholders, again, our business partners. And so we're convening that advisory group as well as meeting with content leads across the district for different courses to be able to make sure we have a plan that is informed. Part of that plan will be looking at the national STEM plan as well as the California STEM plan and anchoring that under the work of our equity plan in the Guide for Instructional Direction. So that work is happening right now, and we also were able to highlight a lot of the current STEM opportunities that our students have. We have an enormous amount of opportunities. We were just able to highlight a few of them, which was great. Like our just a couple of them, our robotics program at Lincoln, our summer leap program, and a few of those. So we were able to highlight those as well as our partnerships throughout the community. Then we transitioned to math. We had our math goal is to increase 4.0 scale score points. And without breaking that down too much, we are happy to report that we do have an increase in math. We don't know if we're going to get to the 4.0, but we have an increase in math. And why that's important and good to celebrate is because we had a math adoption last year. And typically, when you have an adoption, you typically will see a dip in scores as teachers are learning and engaging the material. So we're going to see an increase. So we were very excited to report that. And how we're able to do that is just focusing on teacher training as well as family engagement opportunities. So we talked a little bit about what that looks like, what type of training we're offering our math teachers at the elementary and secondary level, and the type of routines that they're learning, and just the different PD offerings that we are doing. And then highlighted the family engagement opportunities, the homework helpers that are new with the curriculum. We have homework helpers, we have parent tips, we have resources and strategies for parents to be able to understand what their students are doing in math. And so we were able to talk a little bit about that, and then just sum up some instructional practices and connect the dots. So that was our report out on excellence in science and the arts. Thank you. Any questions?
Wow, that doesn't get any questions. And now we have Mr. Steve Dunlap to come up and talk to us about our transition for Gmail and the calendar.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today?
Morning.
Good. So last night I had an opportunity to give a brief report to the board just about our transition from Microsoft Exchange to Google's email and calendar. So we just talked about some of the process that we're going through, the trainings that we're offering, and some of the resources we're providing. We also had a chance to talk to the board a little bit about cybersecurity. As you might have seen in the news, we've had a neighboring district have a cybersecurity attack recently, and so the board asked us to kind of give a brief presentation on what we do in the district to kind of mitigate those risks, and so got a chance to give a lot of kudos to our tech services department, especially Dave Allenbaugh's team, who does a lot of work around protecting our network. So it was a good presentation, and it was quick, so that was all I have. Good. Any questions?
That's a little suspicious.
Yes,
right
Mr.
there.
Sergio San Martin, of course you do.
When is this rolling over?
Winter break. Yes, winter break. We'll talk. Yes.
tell everyone?
Yeah. So the question was, when are we moving over? It's winter break, and the second question was, what if we're working winter break? And then give me a call. We'll talk. If you're working winter break, make it easy. All right.
No other questions for that? Our lives are about to change in such a great way. Opportunity to stretch. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. Before we do that, if you could think of either one big aha, anything you learned from these board meeting topics, or a question, and you can chat with your partner to kind of loosen it up in your brain, and then we'll share out a few things, okay? So just take about 30 seconds to do that. All right, wrap it up, and we'll come back together in 15 seconds. 10. 5. Perfect. Couple people share out from the back for sure. What'd you talk about? Okay, so she just mentioned, wow, they were surprised at just how many schools are going to be affected and are in the process right now for Measure O. So that's a celebration. Thank you. Something else?
We just shared how exciting it was to hear the statistic that Mrs. Jabbar shared about UC Riverside and the quality of that program and
the diversity they're bringing our way.
Yes, absolutely.
That's wonderful. Good. Did everyone hear that? Since she's was right here, not loud, but right here. Okay. One more.
Email and calendar application transition.
What about it?
It's a large project.
It's a large project, and I think I heard her say we are so up for it. And it's a great way to end the meeting. Have a very best day.
Great way to end the year.
Oh, and a great way to end the year. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for being here.